Me.
Mo. I don't know.
All right. TNTM, the show that presents Comicast 256, 257. Ooh, 257. With your host,
Pablo Gunner.
and JD.
And we are here to review the comics for the week of October
26.
26th. That's it. That's the one. Our grade scale is by skim. Pass with variations, strong and weak. Pass is pass. And then our best book of the week we call...
The B-Bow, the back and bag of the week.
That's right, senor. And we have a little ringtone that goes off. We have a timer. And so ringtone goes off when it's time for us to wrap it up. When it's just one of us reviewing a book, 1 minute. Both of us, 2 minutes. Here is the theme. And if you know it, then tell me what it is, and I'll give you a free digital comic code. But be very specific. Remember, as specific as possible. Tell me what it is, and I'll hook you up with a free digital comic. That being said, since we are reviewing these books, spoiler alert. We try not to spoil it completely, but sometimes we get overexcited. Sometimes...
We don't want you to waste your money.
Yes, there's that. That's usually not the case.
No, when we get some really great comics.
Usually it's mostly strong buys. Sometimes it's just strong buys.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago it was just nothing but strong buys.
So, but when there's number ones, number twos, that's when you usually get the...
maybe.
We're not sure.
It has potential.
It's trying to find its footing, you know. So, but, yeah. So that's pretty much it.
And we do have a few number ones this week.
At least one or two.
3, I think.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So, ready?
Ready, we're ready. Let's get started with some indie stuff.
I'll let you hold on to this while I get this party started. Cool?
Groovy.
All right, it's 7 to Eternity, written by Rick Remender. It's issue 2, just so you know. Published by Image Comics. Rick Remender writing. Drawn by Jerome Opeña. Colored by Matt Hollingsworth. And this one doesn't exactly pick up where it left off, actually. This one felt like it's a good jumping on point because there's the intro page that tells you the stuff that went before and everything like that, backstory. And then it shows the main character, I think his name's Adam, as a little boy, how they went into this town to buy medicine for him, actually, and how his dad told him, don't talk to anybody. He ends up talking to a little girl, and she ends up, having something in her called a whisper, so it listens, to... It, essentially is like a snitch or whatever for the boss or whatever, right? And so... and then it gets back to what was previous going on, which is he hears this. Well, Adam, now he's full-grown adult. He's like, all right, this is what I want. I want you to take care of my family. That's it. And he's like, well, that's not what I'm offering. You haven't heard my offer yet. He's like, I'll offer to heal you from your sickness, and you can take care of them yourself. And then this battle breaks out of people attacking him and his people. Or, this boss, and some of his people. So, it's pretty crazy. So, I liked it. It's really solid. It looks freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah, it looks beautiful.
And it's really interesting. So, I'm going to give this one a strong buy.
And pick it up in trade, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Because this looks like one of the stories where it would suck to have to wait a month for the next issue to come out,
Yeah, kind of. I mean... kind of. On to the next one. It's IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe, number 3. This is $5. And we have 2 different stories. The first one is written by Paul Allure, art by Damian Cusiero, and then color Rhonda Pattison. And the second one is a story by Kevin Eastman, Bobby Curnow, Tom Waltz, and then script Tom Waltz with layouts Kevin Eastman, artist Bill Sienkiewicz, colors Tommy Vodga. And so this one, this one's so intense because Raph wants to kill this scorpion woman. And so he cuts her loose so that it's a fair fight. And he's kind of distracted because his brothers are yelling at him and stuff. So she gets some licks in, but he messes her up. and like he's going to these extremes because they're like, oh, there's guys coming up in the elevator. He jumps in the elevator and he takes all these dudes out. It's sick, dude. It is so awesome. And then they're trying to come up with this other plan. And there's these drones that only attack mutants. But April's with them, so she's able to get out. And one of the humans actually shoots at her. And so one of the detectives that's helping out, she's like, "Nope, I'm not cool with this." Second story, it's Leo, and he's like, I don't know if he's drugged. He's having this vision. The Rat King's attacking. So, there's always going to be crazy stuff going on with him. And so he continues fighting that, like, physically and mentally. Really awesome, really great. I give it a strong buy, man. Both of them look great. They have different tones, I feel like probably in trade that probably will be better. But right now, I'm loving it.
Still issue by issue. It's so great.
It's still a strong buy.
On to the Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 8. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I just keep on getting more and more jacked off about Power Rangers. This one's written by Kyle Higgins, illustrated by Henry Prasetya, and colors by Matt Herms. It is published by Boom Studios. And this one, it has Bulk and Skull. They essentially do like YouTube videos or something, or something like that. And they're like, "Hey, things are really bad." They kind of give you like a recap real quickly, and then it gets back to what was going on, which is there's this giant monster and he's attacking the Green Power Ranger, and so like he's in the Zord form. He's big. Yeah. Whereas Green Ranger, he's just on his own.
He's a little dude.
And it's cool how he gets away because he disengages his shield. It's always interesting to see him without his shield, like how he just looks like a regular Ranger.
Yeah, because it's weird because he's always got that gold shield on.
But I also love like how Rangers, like the other Rangers, look when they have
like
his
Red Ranger,
shield.
Yeah.
Yes, or when like anybody just draws them, or they wear like in cosplay, they'll add their own shield to it, so it looks so cool. But anyways, like, he finds ways around it, and he, like, it's really cool, and then he challenges him, he's like, "Oh, yeah, easy for you to beat me when you're 30 stories tall or whatever." And he's like, "You're right, I'm gonna finish you the right way." So he shrinks down, and then Jason, who's in the Zord, attacks him with the Dragon Zord. So it's like, okay, cool. But anyways, they're not able to save Billy, and they come up with this crazy idea that transfers his green power into the other Rangers.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, like it's cool, dude. I was pretty jacked about it. And then they have that extra story at the end with Bulk and Skull.
Yeah, a wrap up.
The ongoing adventures of Bulk and Skull, written by Steve Orlando, illustrated by Corin Howell, colors by Jeremy Lawson. And this one, because they're crying about this, they're telling this police officer, they're like protesting because they stopped making the sandwich called the Bulk, that they end up helping the police because a guy ends up robbing the place, and because the officer is there and they're there, ends up working out. It was, like I said, once again, it was one that was needed because the story was so dark, you know? And like I said, at first I didn't care for it, but now I'm starting to like it more. It's starting to work its way in that it works perfectly. So, strong buy and contender for sure. For sure a contender. So, yeah.
Next we have Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer's Supreme, number 1. Is that correct?
Yes. And I think I put this on my list because it is Robbie Thompson as the writer, and he's a great writer. He's been knocking it out of the park lately. Pencilers Javier Rodriguez, then inkers Alvaro Lopez, colorist Jordi Belair. And this one, Merlin recruits
Doctor Strange.
Well, actually, he's recruiting
Wiccan.
all kinds of Sorcerer Supreme
right?
from different
Senior Magico?
universes. No.
What the hell,
not,
man? No Senior Magico?
They need to put him in more stuff for sure.
Yes.
But at this point in time, like, Strange is pretty weak in magic, but he has enchanted weapons. And it's essentially just a story about Merlin and how he locked up this creature similar to what Doctor Strange did, that's called the Forgotten, and that it's now loose and attacking, and that's why he needs help and stuff like that. And it ends pretty crazy. So it's interesting. It's a lot more cartoony, but it flows well with the Chris Bachalo art that was going on in. I don't know if it's still going on in Doctor Strange because
There's another.
I dropped off of it so I could pick it up and trade. So
Yeah.
just so you know, that's why I stopped picking up Doctor Strange so I could pick it up and trade. As with like most of the books that I've stopped picking up in issues that are strong buys, you know. So yeah, I like it. I dig it. It's worth checking out. I don't. I don't know. I'm not. I'm like all. I'm not sure if I should go ahead and give it a second issue or not. So, um, so yeah, I give it. I'm gonna give it a buy. I'll give it a buy. And here's a digital code if you want to check it out for yourself. Tell me what you think of it. F for Frank, C for Charlie, M for Mark, another C for Charlie, P for Pietro, another P for Pietro, X for X-Men, P for Pietro, F for Frank, Z for Zarbon, Q for Quill, and another Z for Zarbon.
Alrighty. And next we have Steve Rogers, Captain America #6, written by Nick Spencer. Javier Pina is the artist. Rochelle Rosenberg is the color artist. And
it is a Civil War II tie-in.
Yes, it is a Civil War II tie-in. And it actually is a Civil War II tie-in. Not this fake crap we've been having in the past few months.
Well, the last issue was, you just didn't realize it
until
part of the way in.
And it's like, why were you even picking it up? And then, oh, it's a Civil War II tie-in.
But this one is essentially issue 5 retold for at least half of the book, which was disappointing to me because it was literally panel for panel, page for page. I was like, what is different?
Why are we reliving this?
Why are we
different point of view?
Then the rest of it seems to be about flashbacks, which is Steve. He's at this school.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, he's weak, he's ill, but he's tactically smart and he's creative. And then some hero finds him when he's trying to escape.
That's not a hero. That is the Kraken.
Hero to him, I think. And gives him a little talking to, like, hey, if you stick it out, blah, blah, blah. You also see who Steve ends up siding with.
Yeah.
So, and
it's quite interesting, because he lets Miles go. I mean, it's kind of what happens. He just kind of lets him go to let
he wants to keep everybody distracted.
Well, that and
things play out.
Because if things play out, that means Hydra wins.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This was a great book to me. I enjoyed it. The art was great. The storytelling is slightly complicated, but unneeded for how it's structured. But all in all, it was just, wow, okay, this is the full plan. This is how you've gone about it. This is why you're doing this. Okay, let's see where this goes. He's for the cause. This is a strong buy for me. Not a contender, but it's a strong buy.
I can't give it a strong buy just because of the fact that the first half of it was just retelling what we'd already seen in Civil War II #5. So I give it a buy.
All right, and speaking of Civil War II, we have Civil War II #6?
Yes, Civil War II #6.
Written by Brian Michael Bendis. David Marquez is the artist, and Justin Panzer is the color artist. And like we just said a minute ago, it's the same stuff. I mean, you start out with the iconic image 2-page spread of Miles holding Steve's body.
Impaled, yeah.
Yeah, impaled on the steps of the Capitol, which is destroyed. Like the Capitol in D.C.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, and then we get the same conversation from a slightly different point of view. I mean, it's the same, words and stuff.
Yeah, this one's not like a recap, but except for except for that spread, the rest is new material. But you do see more lines are drawn and more people are choosing sides because this is more even though T'Challa.
Yeah, T'Challa.
T'Challa switches sides.
And then Doctor Strange, and yeah,
And Ulysses, I think even Ulysses is starting to like
what's going on?
question things. People are just a lot of this is just people questioning who they are with and why, you know. So,
And Miles, poor Miles, man, he is just
because he felt it, like he lived it.
yeah.
He lived it, and he's like, I killed a dude. Have you ever had like a dream where it just felt so real, and then it just leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth all day because you're like, oh man, that was horrible, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just that's essentially what this is for Miles, you know?
This was a great book. I mean, it was really heartfelt. You could feel, what was going on. With
I like how each issue flops back and forth though between who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes it little leans towards Captain Marvel,
yeah.
and this time it's leaning towards
Tony.
Tony. So it's interesting. I like it.
It's a strong buy for me. It's not a contender, but it's a strong buy. I love the art.
I concur. Yeah, the art is amazing. It always is.
I mean, just the splash page at the very beginning of the comic with Cap and Miles, I could just throw it out on my wall and be go, yep, done. It was just beautiful. Even it's kind of grim.
Yeah, it is messed up. So, all right. So here's the digital code. You want to check it out for yourself. 375 B for Bravo, Z for Zodiac, K for Kill, O for Open, D for Delta, 2, 4, S for Sin, and 2.
Right. And then we have the Totally Awesome Hulk number 11.
It's Civil War II tie-in. Writer Greg Pak, artist Mahmoud Asrar, color artist Nolan Woodard. And so this one, there is this kid, and he like feeds off people's emotions, like strong emotions,
Like,
you know,
like the fear or
all of them,
okay.
really, as long as they're strong, fear, anger, hate. Pretty much, he's essentially dark side, you know, like he's a Sith kind of. But that's what makes him like become this giant like crab-like monster. And he's currently in a fight with Black Panther, who's in like this Panther Zord kind of, which is pretty
like an
cool.
Iron Man costume for Black Panther.
And he was fighting Hulk, but Hulk's like, he takes off because he knows his sister's in trouble. So he goes to help her, but people are getting hurt because he wasn't there. And the thing is right now he's super pissed. So this thing's just feeding it, and he thinks like, oh well, I'm the strongest one there is, so I'm fine. But it's not. Like this thing is just becoming stronger, and so he's getting messed up.
And then a child's life gets endangered.
Yes.
Well, it goes from that point.
So he has to ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's essentially it.
Please, sir, can I have some help?
We'll see how it goes next time.
Yep. On the Hulk.
I liked it.
It's okay.
You read it?
Yeah, I read it.
I don't know. It was.
The art was beautiful. I mean, this is a greatly drawn.
I mean, there's definitely the art is amazing, and I really like elements. Like I love that he was fighting essentially a Panther Zord. That was cool.
How the hell is this a Civil War II tie-in again?
Just because T'Challa was there fighting him, and because he's mad that Clint Barton he got acquitted.
Yeah. Well,
or not acquitted, but
yeah, he got acquitted.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's it. That's essentially it. But
big deal.
So I'm gonna give this one a buy.
That's what I was gonna do. I was gonna give it a weak buy though. It just wasn't up to snuff for me. Wasn't worthy of the Civil War II monitor.
There's something that's slightly off about it.
Yeah.
So all right.
All right. Now we have what the all new, all different Avengers number what?
15 Civil War II tie-in.
Written by Mark Waid, artist by Adam Kubert. Is that how you pronounce it? And Paul Mounts did the colors.
I thought this was a Mighty Thor
It could have very well been
issue.
a Mighty Thor.
Like,
issue.
it looked as good as a Mighty Thor.
Oh yeah.
The paneling was as solid as a Mighty Thor. It wasn't Russell Dodderman, but it was so great. And here's the deal. So this one is like a yesteryear story combined because Jane Foster Thor, she goes to Heimdall and she says, "Hey, there's a situation going on. I need help with it. You know, blah blah blah.
Need it from your perspective."
Yes. And so he tells a story when Thor asked a similar thing in a similar situation, and he's like, "Well, if I tell you what happens, it's going to be locked in.
Yep.
That's what happens is when I tell you the exact future, it's going to be locked in." And Thor, being Thor, he was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to change it anyways."
Yeah.
And that it happened like he didn't give him the details, but he told him the basics of it. And so
It came true like that.
the cliff notes, and right, it came true. I just love the art because
Yes.
it's old school Avengers team.
You have the Iron Man. With
The old school Iron Man, I love that, and just like the old school Wasp, and just like all of it,
Yes.
just looks so cool. And then just how this works out, and she's like, "Okay, thank you for this insight." And old Doom too. It's
Yes.
it's all of it was just so cool.
And
I
then
love
the
this
ending.
this
Oh.
Cap, the whole thing of it. Like it was.
This, even though it was a Civil War II tie-in, this actually was a Civil War II tie-in because, I mean, seeing Heimdall's perspective, you know, Thor getting advice. I mean, granted, this is a nice side story that should have happened, and not being a part of the all different Avengers thing because it just that's not at all.
This was a Thor issue
Yeah.
to the core. Like that's
was
the
all
thing is
Thor.
I didn't really feel like it was. It was a Civil War II tie-in just because of the fact that it was.
Thor asking about, you know, the situation.
Yes, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like that was the rest. But I love. Here's the biggest part of why it was so great. You have to turn it sideways
To read.
to read it, and I love it when artists. Anytime you gotta, they do something like that, and we're gonna switch it up on you. It blows my nuts.
Into the entire flashback
It blows my
like
nuts
that.
off.
The entire flashback's written like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The I think
And
almost
then-
entirely.
and
Yeah.
then-
You're right. You
And-
are 100% right.
Then that way, when Heimdall comes back, it's a.
And I love Heimdall.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just cool as hell.
This is
I
a
wish they would
strong
keep
buy
him
for me.
black though. I do.
Oh yeah.
Like he was
Like
in the
Idris
movie.
Elba. Yeah.
Yes. But anyways,
Strong buy for me. This is a contender.
absolutely. Me too. For this is a strong contender.
The yesteryear story. Just the presentation of the book itself.
I'm going
Yeah.
to save this one for Vlogcast. I'm
Yeah.
saving this digital code for talking to your Vlogcast because this is gold. This
Yes.
is gold. And I want those comments so that you can get this on those videos. Sorry. I'm needy, and
Yeah.
I need your love or your comments, you know. Even the hate, you know. But
The
anyway,
hate. Let the hate flow through you.
moving on. This one, I'll read off the digital code for this one when we finish it up. Did you read this one? Venom,
Negative.
Space Knight.
Nope.
Number 13. Missing out, brother.
I know.
Writer is Robbie Thompson. Artist Gerardo Sandoval. Colors Dono Sanchez Almara. And so this one, remember that hell mark seeped through the symbiote and onto
Look the check.
yeah. What's her name? Like
I can't remember.
Alma or I don't know. Anyways, and so it is hardcore. Like there's this part where she slices Venom open and you see Flash inside. Like it's so cool.
Whoa.
With like this hell sword, and then she gets all these demons to attack. But then his crew shows up and they help him fight all these demons. It kind of reminded me of one of the bosses that was in Joe and Mac, I think is what it was from Media Glitch's newest video. So, but yeah, it was epic. It was epic. Giant monsters and beasts and demons and stuff, and it's cool because in the end, I think they end up leaving her with that. Because they're gonna stay together, you know, and do stuff together. But she's like, for old time's sake, will you do the old suit? And it was him doing the tactical So he
Oh
changes
yeah.
back to the
To
tactical.
Agent Venom.
Yes, to Agent Venom, which is so cool, dude. I've seen Agent
yeah.
Venom cosplays and they look sick. Um, I don't know. She looks weird, but that's I don't know. That's just how it is. But dude, I liked it so much. This artist is amazing, and I love how the art has been so solid all the way through. This is the conclusion to this. They are gonna redo it. Like they're gonna relaunch it. I don't know why, but they are. I think because he's not a Space Knight anymore,
No.
or he's not gonna be a Space Knight. He's just gonna be
The
Venom
Lethal
on
Protector.
Earth. Yeah, and I think he's gonna be. It's kind of be like kind of a partner book. He's gonna be like teaching her
How to use the symbiote.
and I'm wondering if he's gonna kind of go back to the Agent Venom type stuff.
Yeah.
Because that would be cool.
Because I like the Agent Venom stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
This was great. I'm not knocking this. But the Agent Venom stuff was solid. So strong buy, and I'm gonna give it a contender. I mean, it was epic, dude. It was epic. It was like a boss fight, like in a video game. It was cool.
It
was cool, but there was emotion thrown into it, So, killer. Oh! I forgot something. I was supposed to read off the code for that, huh?
Yeah.
All right, here it is. F for familia, C for Carlos, M for Marcos, 2, P for Pablito, V for what's a V Spanish? Vámonos. 2, Z for Zorro. I'm gonna go with that. W for Güero. 0, C for Carlos, and 4. All right. I hope you read this one.
No, I did not read Miss Marvel.
you're-
Did I miss out on that?
Oh gosh.
Is it one of those ones that touch your feelings, man?
Yes, it's Miss Marvel number 12, and it's interesting because we actually have a different artist. It's Mirka Andolfo, but same writer, G. Willow Wilson, and then I think it's the same colorist, which is Ian Herring. So that's what's consistent is the colors and the writing. But the art actually does a solid job of being like the perfect in-between of the two artists that we had before. So, but this one is her, and she's visiting her family in Pakistan, I think. And so she feels like an outsider there because it's like she's
an American, pretty much.
Because she is an Americanized Pakistani, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And
Western culture.
Right, and so it's just, oh man, I love it. I love me some rich culture stuff, and it teaches me new stuff, and it's really cool because there's some bad stuff going on where like what's happening is there's some guys that they destroy the water so that the poor people or people have to pay for water, right? And it's them selling, these bad guys are the ones selling the water.
So they're creating a monopoly.
Exactly.
For an essential basic
so she's like,
life.
all right, fine, well, I'll help, but I didn't bring my suit on purpose. So she, does like a different version. And then this other hero shows up and he's like, hey, you need to learn the situation before you just attack. And she's like, he sounds just like me, but back in Jersey. And so it turns out to be this guy that she actually lived with, or, that lives in the same house, know. And, dude, it was so great. And essentially, she was there for a month. So this sums up like a whole month of her like
adventure
being away. Yeah, and it was just so good. I love me some stuff like that. Then the next one, it's weird because they tacked on this, which is
the Red Widow.
The Red Widow, and it's the last opus. OPUS. Margaret B. Stoll was the writer. Ray Anthony Height as artist, and then Dono Sanchez Almada as colors. And this one, I don't know if this has to do with
Natasha or Natalie or whatever.
No, it does have to do with Natasha, but it's not like I don't know if it has to do with the Black Widow book, because I stopped reading that so I could pick it up and trade as well. But it's this girl and she's training and stuff, and they're like, oh, she's really good, and she's actually legit, like, was also trained in the Red Room, and so I think she was recruited essentially by Natasha, and it tells this story of like her and Natasha and this other guy, how they worked together and how he like sacrificed himself as a distraction and stuff so that they could get this job done. And then so I think it's another them trying to usher, Well, it's multiple things.
They're trying to usher in a new Black Widow that's younger.
They're trying to usher. Well,
Someone that can be a part of the champions.
If you haven't noticed, they're trying to usher in just completely new heroes altogether.
Like the champions is a great way to say that.
Yes, and so this one is not, like I said, new hero, not to replace Black Widow necessarily, but a new Black Widow, but she's called Red Widow.
And she's...
But it also is an advertisement for Margaret Stoll's actual novel that's supposed to come out. So that's part of it, too.
Oh, okay.
So...
I wonder if they're going to make that a graphic novel as well.
I don't know if they're going to start incorporating her into... I'm assuming...
Just a trade graphic novel.
Right, but I'm wondering if they're going to incorporate this character into, like, Champions or into the Marvel Universe more, like I said, because they're ushering in this age of new heroes.
We'll see.
So, because of this extra tacked on story, I was like, you're paying extra, right?
Yeah.
It's $4.99. You're paying an extra $1, and I get what it's like. You know what? If you wanna advertise for this thing, don't make me pay an extra $1.
Yeah, really.
So that's I think that's crappy
that's
of
shady,
them to do
man.
that. Yeah, it is because I didn't skim through this whole thing. Not that I would have been like, oh, I skimmed it and I refused to pay an extra $1 for this extra tacked on story
because it's a good story. Yeah.
Just because it's promoting this new thing. Like, and that's the thing. If it had to do with Miss Marvel, I'd have been like, okay, fine, nothing to do with Miss Marvel. You know what I mean? So that bugs me. The other story makes it. It's like the story itself, the Miss Marvel story itself, strong by contender, but this book as a whole, because it tacks on this thing and adds an extra $1, I'm sorry, can't. I can't do it. It's a buy because of that as a whole. So you know what, Marvel, you're messing up.
Yep.
So
bye.
That probably would have been
a strong buy.
My B-bow if it wasn't for that BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, all right.
So, on to the next book. We have Star Wars Duet number 24.
Yes.
And it's written by Jason Aaron. George Molina did the art, and Matt Milla did the colors. And, wow. This was pretty fun. We have the elite troopers on board the Harbinger. And our heroes are kind of trying to cope with it.
Yes, they're taking all kinds of hits. Like, they're in a bad way, and it's interesting because the art at times is really cartoony, and so it kind of does, to me, I feel like it doesn't mesh sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is dark, like they're in a bad, like I said, they're in a bad way, and so sometimes it doesn't exactly work. Sometimes it does when it's more playful, but when it's not, it doesn't.
No.
And I feel like the art does look more serious when it is.
Especially when the lightsaber battle, man.
It does get, like, the art, it doesn't look as cartoony at certain points. But, like I said, there are certain points where it doesn't, it's a little too much. And I love it how Leia's just like, you're the helmsman. And he's like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, so, and then we have somebody show up. I'm not going to spoil it at the end.
At the end, it's...
I mean, it should be obvious, kind of, but it went from bad to worse.
It got pretty dang bad.
I don't know how much worse it can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're on board a stolen Imperial, Star Destroyer.
I mean,
you have these elite commandos, and then at the end, we have the man coming in.
Pretty much the only way it could get worse is if Vader sliced off Luke's hand and he fell down, and
several
narrowly
stories
escaped.
And, hung up the cloud with Eddie Best.
Yeah, exactly.
The antenna.
So, and everybody's pretty messed up, and Han's frozen in carbonite. But
basically, the end of Empire Strikes Back. That's how worse it can get.
It's on par with that. It's not like almost that bad. Maybe the next one might be
better.
Take it to that level, but so.
I thought this was a strong buy. This is a contender for me as well.
It's a strong buy, but not contender because, like I said, certain parts slightly off.
I didn't care. It was just such a great adventure. It
was really awesome. I don't think I gave a digital code for the last book, did I?
Negative.
So I'm going to have to read off this one. F for fan, C for camp, M for Mankey, G for Game Boy, B for Bones, Z for Zarbon, W for Wesker, Z for Zarbon, P for Pablo, X for X-Men, M for Mankey, and W for Wesker.
And what we have next is Division number 12, written by Tom King. Gabriel Hernandez Walta did the art. Jordi Belair did the color art. And wow.
This is the finale. This
was just tying up that whole story you've been doing. I caught up on it, and wow. It's
so
great.
Vision's wife calls the police and confesses to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I don't know if what she's saying is true or not. Because I don't think they covered this throughout the book. So it's very possible that it is 100% true that what she reports. But essentially she reports so that nobody else can be connected to her crimes. And then it's so sad because she essentially commits suicide, you know?
Yeah.
She drinks this water that corrupts her insides. And oh man, it's so sad, and like, it's just so emotional, and it's so intense. And then you have Wanda talking with Viv, right? And I love it because her mother, her brain patterns are based off of Wanda, so it's like that's kind of
who she's
an essence of your mom. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like a stepmom, you know what I mean? Oh man, and so now it's just Viv and Vision, and they're
and then the dog
continuing
comes back.
on, and the dog. But it also leaves it off with
Viv kind of going off and joining the champions.
Vision's starting something new, and I don't know.
Is that Vic?
I don't know, man. I don't, and that's the biggest thing is like. I don't think so.
You don't think it's Vic?
I think Vic is
gone.
I mean, nobody's ever done. You know what I mean? But, dude, it was just so heart-wrenching. It was so emotional. Like, I was like teared up reading this whole issue, dude. It was so freaking phenomenal. It just blew my mind and destroyed my heart. But it puts a little hope in there. Puts a little hope in my cup.
Itty bitty hope.
You know?
A lot of hate.
So it's so good. It's just I want to buy this as
a trade.
As like an omnibus or whatever. Oof. Yeah. Because this is done.
Yeah,
unfortunately, because this is like one of the greatest
stories.
One of the greatest stories, and I love things like this because when they're completely separate from tie-ins and they just let them do their own thing. This is comics. This is how comics should be done. It's like slice of life. This whole thing was like slice of life.
Yes.
But then you add like Avengers drama or like other drama in there.
Interaction.
Yes, and it's just.
This was a strong buy. This is like probably the contender for the week because
strong buy and contender, without a doubt. Oh yeah, it's mind-blowingly great.
And that brings us to our commercial break.
Yes, it does. And here is a word from
our sponsors.
One of our sponsors, yeah. Alrighty.
And we're back.
We're back. DC Comics.
DC Rebirth all the way this week.
Ready to get shui?
Man,
this book is so shui, right? It's Batman Beyond number one. Dan Jurgens is the writer. Bernard Chang is the artist. Marcelo Maiolo as the color artist. And, alright, so this dude's like...
exactly where we have, from Batman Beyond Rebirth number one.
He explains why he wants to bring Joker back, and he's like, well, think about, like, anytime somebody pisses you off, like, you want to take revenge on them, that's the Joker in you. We
all have a little bit of Joker in
all us. The crazy in you is the Joker. And then it's cool because you have Terry's brother helping out.
With what, Max? Is that what her name is? I can't remember the chick with the pink hair.
The lady. I don't know.
I want to say it's Max. I can't remember. I haven't seen Batman Beyond in forever, man.
But anyways, his brother is helping out on the bat computer and stuff.
Then he's fighting this Joker's one of the
This
Joker.
Titan Joker,
Yeah,
essentially,
that's
which
pretty
is
much what
pretty
it is.
epic.
He's using Bane's, stuff.
He looks similar to the Titan Joker in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, and he gets really Terry gets the crap beat out of him for a little bit until he
A little bit. This whole book is nothing but
Yeah.
him getting pounded. He gets because the Jokers have taken over this neighborhood, and so essentially
It's
he's
like
just
Jokertown.
facing Joker's town, and he's taking on a whole town of Jokers,
1,000 of them.
and so his suit is just tattered.
And they rip up his suit and cut his comms and everything. He managed to escape and go back to the cave, but he pulls the Matches Malone.
He has another plan.
He pulls the Matches Malone, and I gotta give it to him. That was great.
So it looks interesting. Yeah, I'm
this
like,
has potential.
okay, this is interesting. I like it. I like where it's going.
Yeah.
It's different, So it's cool, man.
Like I said, Bruce has got matches. I mean, Terry's got to follow in Daddy's footsteps, I guess. I mean, come on now. That's the way it's got to be.
So, yeah, I give it a strong shui. Right?
Yeah, a strong shui.
A shui buy, a strong buy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't get it,
it's totally contender for me too. I mean,
I love the language like that. Like it just
like in the 2099 comics, the shock.
Yes, like when they
What the
use
shock?
Yeah, what the shock? Like I love it in when they use curse words that aren't curse words,
shut
or
the
just
shock up.
or just sayings that don't exist in our time, but they do in that, Gold. So another strong buy contender.
Yeah. And then we have Batgirl numero cuatro. Number 4.
And this one, Hope Larson writer, Rafael Albuquerque as art, Dave McCaig as colors. And this one picks up exactly where it left off, where she was facing these two folks, and one's like a construction guy, and then this other lady, and she's fighting them. And then another person shows up, the schoolgirl shows up that she was fighting before, but she's like, I need to get to Kai, and so she does a little investigating with help from some girl that helps her, that's a friend of hers, that helps her with her company that she currently has.
Convenient.
I don't know.
Plot convenience. For some plot convenience.
Yeah. And but she ends up doing her detective work and figuring stuff out, and it's just so funny because she's like, she finds Kai, and she's like, I don't want you to have anything to do with Barbara anymore. You're putting her in danger, and if I'm protecting you, I can't protect her, and blah, blah, blah. And I just find it cheesy because it's like, he knows you, he knows your voice, and I wonder,
he knows you're Japanese too, yeah.
You know what I mean? And, so, but it's interesting.
Unless you got one of his voice murders.
This story definitely gets moving in this one, and that's what it definitely needed. It definitely needed to start moving along, and because it's been kind of going slow, and this one finally got moving. So it's really interesting. I'm interested to see where it goes next issue, and I don't know if she's messed up or she made things worse for her in the end or not.
Dude, the ad on the back, the Batman, that was so good. That was so good.
So I need to check it out.
Yeah.
So that we can review it together.
Yes.
So yeah, this one, I give this one a strong buy. Like I said, it moved the story a lot, and it was really interesting, and the art looks amazing. And like I said, I always love how I feel like it flows well with the other Batgirl books or book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have Detective Comics number 943, written by James Tynion IV. The pencilers done by Alvaro Martinez, and Raul Fernandez does the inks, and Brad Anderson does the colors. And yeah,
The Victim Syndicate Part 1. I Saw the Devil.
This was interesting. So basically, Renee Montoya brings in Batwoman because there's been this incident in Wayne Towers.
Yes.
And Lucius was involved, and some people.
Police. There's a few police officers.
Yeah, this was really weird.
And there's blood stained where it says, what does it say? It says no more Batman, I think.
What did it say at the very beginning?
Yeah, no more Batman in blood.
No more, and then the bat symbol in blood.
The bat symbol. And she even says like, "Oh, how come you didn't call Batman?" She's like, "Well, it's red, like
It's
your
like
symbol,
yours. Maybe a
instead
meme.
of instead of being black." But I don't know, black blood. But anyways, yeah,
And
it's
then Batman's doing trying to interrogate her father. And he's like, "This is my service number. Bye. I can speak to you."
yeah. So everyone is dealing with Tim now. They're finally dealing with Tim because they were so busy dealing with
The
the
Monster,
Monster
Man,
Man that they didn't really have time.
to cope with Tim's
But
death or
now
disappearance.
it's hitting them.
And I posted on the group earlier today. I posted this image from this comic, and it's just so iconic. It's like you're seeing Tim's suit up there like Jason Todd's used to be.
I just hate that it's not his wings and that he didn't keep his wings this arc because I think it takes away from him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because that looks. I mean, all to me, almost all the Robins are the same. So to me, I was like, that's Jason Todd's Robin outfit to me
Yeah.
because he was the one that died as
Robin.
as Robin. Whereas if it was him was with the wings, I would have been like, okay, that's obviously his.
It's him.
And I feel like it was a complete mistake. Not, but anyways.
And then we got Stephanie and what's her name? I can't even remember her freaking name. Bluebird. Talking with Jean Paul Azrael. Jean Paul of Valley. And they're like trying to cope with Tim's death and disappearance, whatever. And yeah, and then we have Clayface and Oracle training.
Yeah,
which is pretty interesting. And he gets shown. He get asked to see the biggest, scariest mother
monster, and it's him.
And it's Clayface.
Yeah,
it's just like that's.
It's like, why would that be in there?
It's like that's me.
Yeah, and he's like, that's messed up.
Okay.
I'm always gonna be seen as a monster.
But yeah, it's a great story. We have a little bit more of Bruce trying to help out and Clayface trying to and then we get the Victim Syndicate introduced. That's kind of what it is, and that's where we leave off. The Victim Syndicate is introduced.
Also, I feel like it has to be mentioned, which is Batwing. Is it Batwing?
Yeah.
The guy that was
Lucius'
Batwing's
son or
Is it
cousin
son?
or nephew or something like that?
some relative of his.
Yeah.
They want to recruit him to replace
Tim.
because he was doing this whole teched out stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we don't have him, but we need somebody else to finish his work.
So Batwing, maybe.
Yeah. It's interesting. It looks awesome.
It's
I
the
love
start of a
Kate.
good arc. It's got
Uh,
potential. And beautifully drawn. I mean, it was just great art, pretty good storytelling.
I don't really know what the Syndicate
I
is
don't
or
either.
where they're going or what it's about, but
It's got me hooked so far.
it's interesting. So yeah,
A strong buy.
Contender.
Agreed. All right. We have the Comics d'Action.
Yes, Action Comics number 966. It is Dan Jurgens as a writer, Stefan Segovia as pencils, and Art Thibaert as the inks. And this one is like a mix of the Lois Lane and Superman and Superboy, kind of, It's weird how, though, they're like...
Where's Mom at?
Where's Mom? Mom's not home. All right, well, I'm going to go check up on her. You stay here real quick. And so he leaves his son.
Yeah. Don't burn the house down, son.
And it's Lana. Well, they don't know it's Lana, but Superwoman's
Superwoman.
there. And then she reveals herself as Lana.
When Superman shows up.
Yeah, and so they watch this video, explains the whole thing. And it's sad because it's like, well, she's gone, she's dead. But... they don't want to break everybody's hearts, and they...
So it's like, okay, well, let's
they have to make this hard decision. He has to pick... Yeah. Yeah?
And she's going to be Lois Lane. Lois Lane is going to be Lois Lane.
It's still weird, though, because it ends up leaving... Like, they keep on writing stuff in to try to justify, like, oh, yeah, Lois Lane, she's now going to be... She's taking over for that Lois Lane, so she's not going to be around that much anymore.
Yeah, or she's going to be in Metropolis more.
Right, she's going to be in Metropolis more, and so they just keep saying, oh, well, I'm just trying to show my son, to be the best you can be, even if you don't have powers. And, and they just keep on pushing that, and I'm like, she's not going to be around. Like, that's, I don't know, like, excuse me, but I just feel like she's being a shitty mom.
Well, no, I think what's going to happen is this leave Jonathan more time to be spent with Clark. And
Maybe.
we'll have
I hope
Lois
so.
throughout all the super titles.
Okay.
She'll be interacting with Lex. She'll be interacting with Lana and
Superman and Superboy.
and Superman and Clark as well. We'll see her as a prominent role within Metropolis itself.
So, yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
We may even be able to see her in Supergirl.
I'm just saying. I thought that was kind of crappy. But anyways,
I think it's really weird that Lex Luthor's in this comic, and yet he's imprisoned by Lena Luthor in Supergirl.
is he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
So yeah.
Yeah, well, timelines and such that are all a mess. But yeah, and it ends with an interesting cliffhanger. So
Yeah. I give it a buy.
you give it a buy?
I give it a buy. I mean, it was good. It was well drawn. It was beautiful. But it felt like it was missing that hook. It was missing the action. Sorry.
The action part.
I mean, this is action comics. Where's the action?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the last few issues haven't had
much
action.
I mean,
because it was about Clark, and then it was about Superman and Clark, and then it was Lois Lane, and this was like part 2 of the Lois Lane, but it mashes in, Superman and Superboy into it.
I just don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. But it is a buy. I mean, it's a dang good book.
I think it's a strong buy, but not a contender. That's what I'm going to give it.
Groovy. Alrighty, we have Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, number 7?
Yes.
Alright, written by Robert Venditti, pencil by Rafa Sandoval, ink by Jordi
Tarragona.
like you said, and colors by Tamu Mori. And it's the final fight.
Yes,
it's the conclusion to this Sinister's Law stuff.
Yes, it is Hal Jordan versus Sinestro.
Oh, man.
And it is epic.
This has the best unsung hero ever.
Oh, yeah, that too.
We'll get to that here in a second, but all right. So what we do is we start out with Hal and Sinestro kind of just going at it. Sinestro's powered up to 1,000%, and they're fighting, and the Corps is heading towards there. They're ready to fight World and just at least give it all that they got.
Yes, both of them are giving it as much as they can. You know what this fight reminded me of? It reminded me of like a Star Wars fight because it's verbal judo as well, not just the fight, and so it's a mental thing. But it's also
because you do have the whole
fear,
join me
willpower.
Type thing, man.
Yes, there's exactly. Oh man, but like you said, unsung hero, Guy Gardner. Yeah, I thought he was gonna give in. He did not give in, and it was sick. And then
this comic has made me say, forget Hal. Guy is where it's at. Him and his bowl cut and everything, man.
And his nakedness.
I mean,
they give him some clothes, but they even mentioned that he's been fighting this naked the whole time. And I just love the art. Like they're hitting each other with trains and planes and
And then Hal just goes beast mode on him. Oh.
Yes. So the fear engine starts to break down. So then the odds are even, because that's the thing is, Sinestro was overpowering him. But now that they're equal, boom, and Hal becomes pure will, pure green willpower, and it is so sick. Yes, it is just epic. Now, once again, it didn't go down the way I thought because I thought the Green Lantern Corps was going to get there and save the day.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. It was somebody else's plan who used to be part of the Green Lantern Corps that made it work, and Hal mentions that as well. As she was the one that
rallied the Sinestro Corps
that helped.
Are they gonna not call themselves the Sinestro Corps?
I don't know. That helped Guy Gardner get out, but I love that too. How Guy Gardner was he just kept on yelling.
He kept saying the oath over and
then everybody that was in the fear engine
started
chanting it too. So it was just like this whole room or like army. Yes, and it was like.
There's no more fear.
Epic.
There's hope.
That is epic. And so I feel like, hopefully, like these are going to be the new recruits, maybe, for the Green Lantern Corps because they had all those ones that died off.
Oh yeah.
And they've said that like, there's a lot of casualties, of them getting back. Epic.
Yes.
Just pure epic, raw, awesomeness,
strong by
visually,
contender.
Writing, every little bit of it was.
Buy it twice.
Yeah, buy every cover, every variant.
Yeah, this
Back and bag it.
twice.
Get a version that's just never touched. So
When you go to the store, wear some surgical gloves.
wear a hazmat suit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clean room suit. Yeah, this was a great book. Pick it up.
Strong buy contender.
Absolutely.
So
Alrighty, next we have what, the Flash?
the Flash number 9, and this is the Flash of Two Worlds.
No, the Kid Flash.
The Kid Flash of Two Worlds. And oh man, where's the okay? So Joshua Williamson is still writing. Jorge Corona is the artist, different artist. Ivan Plasencia is color artist. And I'll be honest, at first I was hating this art because I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like I hate, me, I hate artist changes when I'm not warned. But very quickly I went, "Oh, this is a Kid Flash story from Wally West, Kid Flash's." The New 52 Wally West Kid Flash point of view, and I went, all right, fine, okay, I get this is a thematic thing. It's a cartoony look version. It's weird though because Flash gets sucked into
possessed the Speed Force.
Possessed, yeah, and he's
and
saying
it looks like
messed up
Eobard
stuff.
is the person that's doing the possession.
Something, yeah, or he's messing with his head, something like that, yeah.
And so it's really weird, and he kind of just says that, hey. That person that was, Daniel, remember him? That was your dad, not your uncle.
He just called himself his uncle because he didn't want to own up to being your papa.
Yeah, so, that's what happened to your dad.
And it was weird because this other character shows up, and then you think it's going to go a certain way, that it's his friend, and then it doesn't.
He's like, dude, I know this guy. He's totally into comics, man. Let's go check him out. All right, cool. Let's go check him out. Oh, it's Wally.
And then Wally shows up and is like, hey. And it's like, why didn't he just show up from the get-go? What was the point of that kid showing up at all?
Why is this reveal necessary?
Yeah, that
was
kinda,
weird.
that kind of bugged me. That was a little off. It kind of, I don't know if it took me out of it, but anyways, they get back into it, and he's like, all right, I'm going to teach you some stuff.
We're family.
Give you some feedback on
how to use the Speed Force.
As well as just Barry,
Yeah. Or, no, the Flash, because he hasn't recognized.
The Flash, yes, because he hasn't.
Wally West, New 52, does not know that Barry Allen is the Flash yet.
Correct. So, and then Wally West also talks to Barry Allen. And then he's like, oh, I saw something that gave me hope.
Yes.
Once somebody else put a little hope in his cup.
Yep.
Itty bitty little hope. So, like I said, I ended up liking it by the end. There was some minor issues with it, so I can't give it the strong buy. I give it a buy, but it was still really solid. So
I give it a great homage to the Flash of Two Worlds. I mean, it was a buy. It's not a strong buy because it felt like a side story that needed to be told, but could have been told elsewhere.
Yes.
But it was still a great comic. But it is just a buy. And next issue is supposed to start off another arc where they're investigating the whole Watchmen thing.
Mm.
So hopefully we'll get some stuff going on there. On to what? Teen Titans?
Yes, Teen Titans
Rebirth
number one. No, it's not. It's just Teen Titans number one.
Oh yeah, Teen Titans number one.
Benjamin Percy is the writer on this one, and then John Boy Myers as visuals, Jim Sharalemperes as color. This is really sad because Damien, it's his birthday, his 13th birthday, and he's eating coke. He's eating cake by himself. I mean, he's with Alfred, but Batman's off doing stuff.
Justice League things.
Yes, Justice League stuff. And Alfred is like, you know what? You need friends. You should go make friends, and that's what most kids do that have birthdays. And then it goes back to him
kind of kidnapping the Titans.
And it's the Titans. He's going like, oh, these are your flaws. This is why I was able to do this with you and you and you and you. Blah blah blah. And they
and they get all pissed off, and
they break loose. They go up against him, and he's like, "See, as a team, you guys can overcome your weaknesses, and everything like that."
I captured you to prove a point that we're better as a whole. Oh, by the way, we're all gonna die if you don't work with me because we're gonna die.
Right, because the League of Assassins is
because we're being targeted.
They're all targets. Yes. I also did love how he gave props to Tim.
Oh yeah,
That was really great.
pitching that feels,
For sure.
especially coming from Damien, who's a complete jerk.
So, but yeah, like I said, they reveal, hey, Grandpapa is coming after him and and the Titans.
Yeah.
But you know what really upset me the most is that that Batman, that Bruce did not.
Didn't show up for Damien's birthday.
Not that he didn't show up, but
Didn't even call.
He didn't do something in replacement for, like leave him a message or a note or a letter.
Son, I love you. Happy birthday.
Or here's this. I got you this. I'm like, really? I feel like Bruce is like equivalent to a Saiyan father. He sucks. He sucks.
Hey, Piccolo, raise my kid.
Like he's more focused on justice, which
for breakfast.
So okay, Saiyans, theirs is becoming stronger, becoming more powerful, but Bruce Wayne's is justice. That's his obsession. So
most of the time, yeah. Sometimes the nookie gets in the way.
But that's Bruce sucks.
He's a bad
as a
dad.
father. Yes,
He's a bad dad.
So it's like, yeah, I'm really missing Batman and Robin title.
Oh yeah.
Like, where's that?
Well, I don't think it's real needed right yet.
So,
I don't think Damien is needed in Gotham at this point in time. I think that'll come around probably within the next 5 months.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, if this
build
exists, that
Damien up as
exist,
a better
but,
character, and then bring him into the fold of Batman and their world and their team.
And
maybe work with Team Batman, or Batman Inc. or whatever the hell.
So I don't, like those things bugged me, but it's such a good issue.
Yeah, it's a strong buy.
Like, I'm not saying that's not a Bruce thing to do, so it's still a strong buy and contender.
Yeah,
it looks amazing, and the tone is just perfect, I feel. Last book of the week, it is Titans, number 4.
This one.
Dan Abnett is the writer, Brett Booth is the penciler, Norm Rapman is the inker, and Andrew Dalhouse is colorist.
And man, we start out where we left off with Kadabra kind of kidnapping
Linda
Park. And he just kind of goes into this idea. He kind of just rants off his plan to Linda. It's like, hey, he used to go into the Speed Force, and he was always able to come back because of you, because of Linda. So you don't know him, so therefore that link is no longer strong enough, and I'm gonna exploit that weakness. And that's kind of what this is.
With his teammates.
He kind of goes in and puts all the team in jeopardy.
Right.
And
3 different locations.
Wally,
so they have to break
can't
up
run
in
fast
pairs.
enough and fix this. So,
but
yeah.
That's the trick, is he wants to get
so
it
you
to go
have
super
4.
fast.
You have 4 different locations.
I will say, yeah, technically.
Because Linda.
Right. The paneling is just mind-blowingly great. I love the paneling in this. And I like the other characters, but I feel like they're underutilized, or they're under.
Did you get your healthy dose of dick
powered?
today?
No, I did not.
No,
because,
no healthy dose of dick.
No, because it ends up this book
is the Wally West show.
I'm honestly, I feel like dropping this book because I hate it. I hate it because it's not called Wally West and the Titans, which it should be, or it should be called Wally West and whoever. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a Titans book. It's not. Don't read it. If you're expecting Titans book, it's not.
No.
And that's the thing, is I'm going like, it's just Wally West.
No, it's Speed Ginger.
With the Teen Titans.
It's Speed Ginger, man.
It irritates the hell out of me. Like, it's not a bad book, but it's mistitled, and therefore I hate it. It's not what it's called, and it's not what it should be because of its title. Call it what it is, and that's it. Like, this whole time, it's been nothing but about Wally West.
I mean,
when are we going to get to Titans? Because they're just showing that the Titans are weak. Look, I love Dick, and you're making him look weak. My Dick is not weak, okay? And so, that's just not something I'm willing to cope with. Aqualad, like, they're only focusing on, like, I get it. This guy is a Wally West focused villain. I get it. I get the point, okay? The art looks amazing. But you know what? These people, like, okay, and he even overpowers the Teen Titans so that they're stronger. And I'm like, they still can't find a way to beat them. Like, these are a team that work together. And the thing is Wally has untapped the memories that they had together in the previous universe.
So they know everything.
So they should work so seamlessly together that it's ridiculous. They're not. Why are they not? It doesn't make sense. Oh, so that Wally West can be the hero and the focus. That's not good enough for me. I'm not reading this. I'm not picking this book up anymore so that I can read about Wally West. I want to read about the Titans. I don't want to read about Wally West being the savior of the Titans or failing to be the savior of the Titans, because that's what it's felt like the whole time. It's issue 4, and it just seems like it's Wally West falling short every single issue, and it's at the sake of
story
of the Titans, of the actual Titans, making them look weak so that he can look like eventually the savior or whatever. I don't know. It just bugs me too much.
No.
So I can't, like I said, it's not a bad book, but it's not.
It's not going in the direction it should be. It's not titled correctly.
It's the same thing that was kind of wrong with Green Lanterns for a long time, which is get to it already. This is a Titans book, not a Wally West. And call it that if that's what it is, but it's not.
And I thought they were supposed to be investigating why they lost all that time anyway.
Yes.
This isn't doing that. This is
right.
like damsel in distress crap.
That too, and that's the biggest thing of Rebirth that I've noticed is there's literally nobody getting to
what the hell happened.
What's going on with Rebirth?
Who's this Oz guy?
Who is the person that's changing things?
What happened? Solve this. Why did Batman have the comedian's button in the Batcave? What's going on?
I feel like there should still be a Rebirth book that does that. Like, I'm not saying that all these books should have a little bit of that thrown in.
Monthly title.
It doesn't even have to be monthly. It could be like every other month. I'd be fine with, because we've had Rebirth going on for how long and nobody's getting to that point.
Okay, well, hey, Bats, while I was doing this case, I found out this. Okay, cool. Hey, Flash, what's going on?
Right, so everybody throws in a little bit.
This is what we found out. Oh, Doomsday had this big old flash of light before he went. Oh, Tim had this same thing too. I found traces of this radiation here. Maybe these two are connected. I mean, there's a bigger picture here that we're not seeing.
I get that they're playing the long game for this,
but man,
and that's
don't
fine.
Play it so long.
But at least throw some stuff in there. And like I said, it's not this. Titans is not a bad book, but it's not fulfilling me. If it's fulfilling other people, that's fine. But it's not fulfilling me, so I'm gonna drop it. And like I said, just because I'm dropping it doesn't mean it's a bad book. It's just not for me. So.
And I'll keep covering because I love the Titans. I want to see this team succeed.
I'll give it a strong skim.
This
issue.
I want to see this work. But
and I'm willing to hear from you. And when it gets to actually being a Titans book, guess what?
You'll pick it back up.
Then I'll start picking it up.
Because you love your dick.
I do, but I also want to see Aqualad, and I want to see Donna Troy, and I don't know who the other chick is, but nonetheless, I want to see
the team.
Oh, Roy Harper as well. These are characters that I want to see. Yes, these are characters that I want to see. I don't want to just see.
It's the Wally West Show, starring the Titans.
So, all right. Well, it's time.
Yep, time for RB Bows.
Time for RB Bow.
Oh, I'm not sure if I granted it last time. It's a week by for me for Titans.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I said it or not.
No, you didn't. So I'm glad you said that. And so I thought you were just gonna be like, I still love it because I love Wally West.
No, I'm not a Wally West fan, girl. No.
You are. Don't even lie.
I mean,
you love Wally West.
I love the character because that's what I grew up on. But I mean, too much of a good thing is literally too much of a good thing.
Like I said, call it Wally West and the Titans. I would be completely fine with it.
Name it what it is.
Not.
It's not.
Get to the point already. We've had the magic whatever for way too long.
Yeah, we're done with Abracadabra.
Yes, that's it.
Speaking of Abracadabra, we're going to do our B-Bows now. Best back and bags of the week.
Right here.
Man, we had some pretty good books.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, I'm split between my runner-up. I know what my B-Bow is. I know that. But my runner-up is split between Captain America, Steve Rogers, number 6, and Vision number 12. I can't choose. Those two are my runners-up. So, my B-Bow is Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. What was it, number 7? I think.
I concur.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was number 7, but that
Yes.
was my B-Bow.
No doubt. It
Best,
is
just
pure,
flat out.
pure epicness.
Buy it twice, and then again.
I mean, you could probably tell just when we reviewed it.
Oh yeah.
That it was going to be the B-Bow for this week.
Totally epic for me.
It is. So, yeah, it's a B-Bow. I mean, the visuals, the storytelling, everything about it. Like I said, once again, you think it's going to go a certain way, like the way that it leads up to it, and then it goes differently. But just pure epicness. Like, I would love to see like Hal Jordan try to recruit Sinestro back into the Green Lantern Corps, though.
Hey, you want to come be my best friend?
But like because he was a great Lantern, you know what I mean, and he did teach him well. But anyways, yeah, that was epic. What did you say your runner-up was?
It was either Vision number 12 or Captain America number 6.
Okay.
Those are my two that I couldn't decide between. Because that Vision number 12 was beast.
Oh man, you know what? I really wanted to go with Miss Marvel, but like I said, can't for my runner-up. But I can't. I just can't. Batman Beyond was a blast.
Oh yeah, I just want that to get ramped up so it can get really good.
Power Rangers is doing something that like you have not seen, and it's cool as hell.
Speaking of Power Rangers, the Green Ranger and the Pink Ranger were both at the Alamo Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like somewhere in Texas this weekend.
But I'm gonna go with the Vision, dude. Like
Vision number 12.
The Vision, like I said, the Vision. It's each issue though is not like it's always a strong buy, but I know that as a collection,
it's epic. That
it's gonna be one of the greatest stories ever. Like it's just period. Like I feel like it's one of those that literally will go down with like epic stories like Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One and just like wonderful stories like that. Even I don't know.
The Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Infinity, like stuff that's not events, but it's
trade.
It's its own side story thing. You know what I mean?
Like, wasn't Operation Galactic Storm its own thing?
Did you ever read Avengers AI like that as well? Like Avengers AI goes down with that too. Like those kinds of things that are just off on their own. They let them do their own thing. So freaking amazing. Like I said, it's definitely worth more in trade, but I loved it the whole way when I was reading in issues. That's the thing. And each issue has its own like tone, its own theme, but it's consistent all the way through too.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant, is what it is. That's what it really is. It's just maddeningly brilliant. So that's why you have to get that one.
And that's our comic book reviews for the week of the 26th of October, 2016.
Yes.
Leave us comments about your back and bag, what you thought was great this week. And if we didn't pick it up, just let us know. Hey, you guys should be reading this. This is something you should be checking out.
Absolutely, yeah. If there's books that you think that are strong buys or B-bows every single time they come out, tell us about them, and we'll definitely check them out. I have to say, so I answered this question from the Namor podcast. Mm-hmm. They asked, and I kept on forgetting, so I feel bad. But they wanted to know. I answered it on my own, but since you weren't on the last one, or whenever I answered it, they wanted the Namor podcast wanted to know if you could only pick 3 books to read right now, what would they be?
If I could only pick 3 books,
what would you pick
to read right now? Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns. That's definitely.
I picked that one too.
It is totally consistent. I love it. Star Wars, totally great. I mean, it's solid every issue, but it's not like phenomenal. It is one of those books that I'll still continue reading. Mm-hmm. The third one, man, that's tough. That's real tough. I'd have to stick with the Flash, man. Because it's got arcs, and it may be kind of slow between the arcs, but at least it's still going.
Yeah.
And that's because I haven't picked up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like you have. So, because I'm pretty sure you said that. Because Ninja Turtles is definitely
yes, I did. Yeah. The main title, TMNT. Yeah. I did say that. Yeah, I said TMNT, Miss Marvel, and Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, that's pretty good, solid stuff right there.
So, and like I said, Miss Marvel would have been it this week, but Marvel, you screwed up.
Yeah, because you want to be too greedy about making us pay for advertisements.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Doesn't go with me.
Yeah.
So,
But
So yeah, that's it. Thank you for checking us out on YouTube. I've been the newest video, the Talking Nerdy vlogcast where I reviewed
the Santa
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 Fe
Fe
Comic
Comic
Con
Con.
2016. Got a lot of comments. I'm super jacked off because I got my first thumbs down, and that's good because they say that if you don't have critics that are knocking your stuff, you're not
If you're not pissing people off, you're not doing it right.
you're not doing a good job. So I mean, I'm not trying to piss people off, but what I'm saying is if there's not if you don't have haters, you're not
Not reaching, Well, there's no such thing as a hater, man. I mean, it's a difference of opinion.
difference opinion. Yeah,
Just because
I don't know
someone
what they
disagrees with us,
because they just gave the thumbs down. I don't know what the reason was. I want to hear it so that I can improve.
criticism is great because
So please, whoever gave the thumbs down, by all means, tell me what it is that I did wrong so I can improve upon it for the next vlogcast or for any video. And that's the other thing is I get a lot of comments are like, hey, I was this person or I was that person on Facebook. We've gotten a lot of Facebook likes too on the page.
Dude, I found the group, man.
Oh, no way.
The Groot and Raccoon, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
so
cool.
people have been liking the page. That's great. For the longest time, we had the 1,000 Mark of the Beast on the page, and now it's like almost 170. So, and like I keep on saying, once we get to 2,000, I'm throwing a party at my casa. I'm throwing a Talk Nerdy to Me party at the casa.
And wait until we get to over 9,000.
Yes, then it's going to be...
a blast.
Yeah. Yes, literally and figuratively. We'll have some fireworks. But anyways, but yeah, so, that's been great. A lot of people have been asking, hey, I was in this, or I did this with you. When is this coming out? I haven't had my days off yet. So I work, and I have a long drive. It's almost 2 hours, and that's just one way. So that takes up most of my day. I get home, and I pretty much go to sleep, get up, go to work. That's what I do for 5 days out of the week, So I haven't had much time. That, and I've been trying to get in shape. So I've been staying late at work at the gym, and then going in early too to go to the gym. So, but anyways, I will. Yes, it will come out.
We just don't know yet.
I'm probably gonna because I can only work on it like 2 days out of the week. It'll probably be like maybe 1 or 2 because it takes time to edit those videos. So I'm gonna say that maybe like 1 or 2 videos, 1 video at least a week. And then on top of that, I do my Talking Nerdy vlogcast video.
And then this.
So, and then I do this, and I edit all these things and post all these things on the website. So, it's all me running this. That's why I need to update the About Me page on Talk Nerdy to Me because...
You got a bigger resume, man.
Because I do a lot. The ambassador is, he's... To me, he's alumni Talk Nerdy to Me, but he's not... Active.
Which again,
and now you're part of it, so I need your bio to throw up on there, and whatever picture you want me to throw up. If you need, I don't know if you've seen the bios, but just do your own.
I'll have to check it out.
It's funny because that's actually the most visited page of Talk Nerdy to Me. Yes, it has the most
bios?
hits. The bios has the most hits. Yes,
wow.
because it's been on there longest.
Okay,
that's why. But so yeah, I definitely need to update that. Amongst other things. The ambassador didn't teach me all the tricks of the trade before he left, He kind of pulled a Batman and he just threw his thing down and left me
vanish
and left me eating cake by myself. But anyways, no. The ambassador, actually,
come back and say hi sometime.
The ambassador went to go to some Talia Ghul's and Selena Kyle's. And
oh,
that's what he's busy doing now.
He's definitely being the Batman.
Yes, so that is.
Let's just leave it at that.
So yeah,
thank
you for checking all our stuff out, which is at TNTM the show website, Facebook, Facebook community group. That's going great. Everything's going great right now. So thank you for everything. Tumblr, Instagram. I need to start slowly adding more pictures to that.
Yeah, because we've got a ton of content.
Yes, tons of content that needs to. Like I said, it'll come out probably like. Like a video a week.
I can't wait until the Joker video comes out, man. I wonder how that turned out.
So I threw a tidbit in there.
Yeah.
I threw a tidbit into
some of the videos.
Into the review. Yeah. So yeah, pictures and tidbits. So yeah. So like I said, thank you again. And keep your eyes open for
comics.